Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
I'm very curious to hear what she has to say today. She is a Hayoka, which is a storyteller. She's a life coach of sorts. Also, she's got psychic ability as a clairvoyant. There's so much more. She's a tarot card reader. And Janis Reed is back with us. Welcome. How are you doing, Janis?
I'm doing fairly well to middling, as they used to say.
I haven't heard
Doing good.
I haven't heard that one in years. Fair to Midland.
Oh, really? Yeah, fair to middling. That's pretty good. That's from my part of the world.
And your part of the world is up in the mountains in Virginia right now, right?
Well, for now, it is. It is. I go kind of where the spirit takes me. So I am in the mountains now. And I love it. I've been here about 20 years. I always thought I would be an island girl because I just love living on various islands in the sea and the ocean. And when I got up here, I didn't know. But now I realize that I live on this little mountain peak. I hope it one day does not become an island. uh, but it's sort of like an island in the sky. So here I am.
So what's on your mind today, Janis? What are you thinking about?
Organization. I'm so poor at it. Um, but I do pay attention. And, last week I had a really good time with a friend of yours, I think. We talked about me being a Heyoka, it being such an interesting word, an odd, out of the lexicon choice of vocabulary. I wanted to give a couple of more minutes or a little bit. Maybe you could ask questions too about what exactly that is. So I've been doing some research about what other people have used to describe it and what they've tried to use to describe it. Heyoka is not a universal term. It's not something that you can go look one up in the yellow pages unless you're in a very specific part of the country. It is a Lakota Sioux term. It's not American, it's not English, French or Spanish or Italian. It is Lakota Sioux. It's a holy name for a holy person. I say holy. There's a lot of holes in that theory, though, and so it's the right word to use. A Heyoka is a little different than an empath or a psychic. And because I have met so many well-intended people calling themselves, oh, yeah, I'm Heyoka too. There's various kinds of empaths. And there's only one kind of Heyoka. Not to offend anyone, but if we don't say the prayers right, God won't hear them with the correct intention. I can no longer call myself Laksha or the holy name of an East Indian goddess than you could. I'm not East Indian, nor am I Siberian or Mongolian. Although shaman might be a term people would be more accustomed to as a portion of what I am. I am what I have earned the right to be without intention, without realizing that's what I was doing. And when I reached a certain level, perspective of my own personal spiritual development, the thunder beings came and blessed me by running roughshod all through in and out of me for many, many hours. And doing that last little bit, flicking the switch of shifting me from being whatever I was before to what I am now. I am a representation of whatever Great Spirit feels is necessary.
Do you feel, I'm wondering, do you feel that you're ever evolving? So,
yes,
you know, what you are today, Heyoka, storyteller.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm not a static being any more than anybody else is. I'm still trying to figure out what in the heck hit me in the head. But I have been made really aware that it's not that I've been knocked in the head and I'm kind of got a loose screw up there. I've I've really been rewired to, I'm almost like the red phone sometimes. Someone will come up to me and say hello and get insulted and walk away when I realize, why was I talking about that particular subject anyway? To find out later it was something important. And the person I just met didn't think meeting me for the first time gave me any right to talk to them about their personal issues when I didn't know. Spirit uses me because I've figured out somehow or another to just let it happen, let her rip, step aside, to somehow discern when it's me hitting my funny bone and I want to pull something on somebody and, run a flag up. I'm a human person. I'm in a human skin. And when that little tingle differentiates the incoming, it feels like a big giant head. There's a tingle that runs up my spine. There's something that hits me in the lungs that moves my heart organ muscles to this, makes my body stand and act differently. And it's spirit incoming.
There you go.
Oh,
You can't make that up. I mean,
people think I do. I don't.
no, believe me, I've been around enough intuitive people, psychics, yeah, everybody to understand that this just
Mhm.
happens. There's energy being transferred, transmitted. It just happens.
Well, what's funny is that tells me that not only did my husband close down all of his computers in his room so that you and I might have the line, he must have turned off his hearing aids too. Oh, I love living here.
So I have to ask you now.
You ask away.
You tell great stories, have amazing insight when you tell them. Do you feel that you were chosen by spirit or whatever it is to be the one or one of the ones to tell stories? Because I can't tell them like you can, not even close.
I think I'm really blessed to have found a way to deliver the message where the messenger may have one small chance in Hades to make it out of there before I get smoked.
Hmm.
By telling somebody the direct answer, I can be very blunt. I'm not even aware. Later, I am embarrassed beyond measure to have spoken to the queen like that without realizing that was her in the bathroom. And stuff like that. Just, I find myself in precarious situations, intimate settings with amazing people who suddenly blurt something to me, and I know the answer, by golly. And then we hug, and I never see them again until they show up on TV or on air somewhere. People seek me out. I mean, I live here in the middle of nowhere. People have knocked on my door. I have no idea how they figured out which house was mine, except I'm the only one here. Spirit puts me in the way of the issue that I need to help on, that I'm able to help with. I don't choose the issue.
Hmm. And people seek you out for other things like tarot card readings and maybe a psychic
Yes,
connection, insight.
yes. I got a dirty note from a lady this morning because I haven't responded yet. I do readings over the phone for people all over the world because via telephone, and I'm talking a telephone with a hard line, not a cell phone. Cell phone, I don't get cell phone service up here, but I use a telephone to work with people all over the world. They make an appointment with me and they send me money. That gets the money part out of the way. Nobody's going to ask for any more money. That's it. I don't even ask for why they want to talk to me. I just want to make sure their money's good. But when their money passes muster, they also send me some dates on the calendar that they know they can be available for me to talk to at noon at my time. And I look at the dates and I go look at the calendar, and Spirit lights up one of the dates. The calendar literally looks kind of grayed, and one little square will blink up and it'll light up, and that'll be the date.
Hmm.
So I confirm that with whoever I'm going to talk to, and I get a phone number. When the date comes up at high noon, I close down everything else except the person I'm talking with, and Spirit channels through. There have been people that have had to hear some very, very hard information. And it just so happened, I happen to have been through something similar enough that I could talk about myself instead of them. And that way the client doesn't feel like I'm intruding in on their secret. I only reveal my secrets. Shoot, people know what I am anyway. But by using my secrets, so to say, I am reflecting their issues in ways I'm really not really clear on, but it works out that way. And somewhere in the middle of me talking with them, telling them their story, and it's their story that I tell them, even though it's pulled out of my history and my brain bank, that story is for them. This way, Spirit can present to the person in a voice that doesn't hurt them, in a manner that they can accept and understand and feel the love from. Sometimes it's hard love, but it's always love. Spirit, God wants us to have healthy children and laugh a lot and enjoy the blue sky and the sweet water and protect it. God wants us to be happy. Each Heyoka serves God in a specific way. My goal is to bring back the happy. Happy people make better decisions. Lousy, we need to be making better decisions than what we've been making. So to bring back the happiness is not to bring back the funny, oh, look, the pie in the face, that's funny, but to bring back and remind people that there's happiness because the sky is blue, because there's a chance of tomorrow, because we don't have to live today forever. Ha ha ha. There's always something a little bit more, a little bit something that will help us make our lives easier if we only could see or catch whatever that elusive thing is. So I tell stories, and the elusive thing gets landed into their hands. They can touch it and feel it and understand it and know what to do. We laugh together, loosens them up. And before I'm finished reading their story to them, before I know what their issue is, they've generally found relief, understanding, joy, happiness, because they figured it out and I didn't have to tell them. And in this way, I bring joy back to the world. Joy to the world. That could be my theme song. So I'm Heyoka. Unlike Crazy Horse protected his people. Black Elk tried to speak for the people. I'm just trying to get anybody to giggle, laugh with Spirit, enjoy the life that was meant for us, instead of festering over this life we've made for ourselves that just doesn't feel right and doesn't fit. We don't have to keep that up.
Maybe you could answer this. Why do a lot of us feel that we're incomplete? We don't feel maybe aligned with what's here and then what's here. Why do you think we're off kilter a little bit?
Our parents. Let's blame it on our parents.
You love them, but
They do the best they can, but they didn't know what the future was being. They were just trying to make the kids shut up and give them something to eat.
Yeah.
Parents do the best they can And because there's so much going on, our society today, we've picked up and moved. Nobody lives next to their mama anymore. Nobody's babies want to move into the house next door to mama. And that used to be the norm. Each family was like its own little tribe in some way. We took care of each other. We didn't have to go looking for doctors because mama knew how to set a bone, or daddy knew how to lance a boil. There was a lot of things that we did, and they had kept us self-sufficient. But it was hard. But when something was funny, it was by golly funny.
Hmm.
And the sound of the birds was beautiful, no matter how bad your body hurt. Simple joys. Now people get up, flip on the radio, turn on the TV. They step outside and go, "Ooh, it's raining. I need a raincoat. Let's get an umbrella." Instead of standing out there with a fool mouth open, looking up at the sky like a turkey and enjoying the gift of rain. People's perspectives are skewed because their mamas and daddies wanted better for the children than what they had, without realizing that they were just repeating a folly. They just taught us how to repeat a folly.
Well, they just repeated what they learned. Our parents repeated what they learned from their parents.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the things that, and I'm not saying it was wrong, but like you said it, Janice, they did the best they could with what they had. What did they have? Stuff that came
Yeah.
generationally. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's, for today's generation, maybe, our generation, whatever, might not have been the best thing.
Well, it's good to think about that because this generation is not the same generation as 250 years ago.
Hmm.
So we don't have we have different needs, different understandings, insights since then, hopefully. But the goal has been going toward industrialism, commercialism. Nothing wrong with that. But it's taken too much from the other side, from the side of balance, clean air, taking care of the earth, instead of thinking the earth is supposed to take care of us. It's like your mama. When your mama quits taking care of you, who takes care of your mama? If you don't, mama dies.
Mm.
She'd get sick. She doesn't do so well. We got to take care of our mamas. And that's the earth under our feet. That's each little air molecule that bubble up inside of our nose and giggle and shoot down into our lungs and expand and cough back up in a word. We need joy in the world, don't you think?
I don't think we do. I don't think we take a look at the world and take that time for those little things and say, wow, that was really cool. That bird singing, that was actually kind of nice. We're always so busy moving forward, missing those things, those connections to nature, which are so important.
And then, as you said, wondering why we don't feel whole.
Mm.
We don't feel whole because we're ignoring so much of our companionship. We think a companion is supposed to be somebody that, also uses Zoom calls and telephones and drives a car. When a companion can be any living creature, a plant. We lose our companionship with other living things when we think we're better than them, and then we don't feel quite right. But for gardeners and farmers, they know
Mm.
you have to be a part of this. You can't be stepping on the earth. You have to step upon the earth.
One thing that I've learned is we don't take time to be, quote, grounded in the earth, to just even walk outside and
Mm-hmm.
just enjoy 20 minutes of whatever air is out there. We don't do it.
Whatever you got.
Yeah. And I think it truly affects us that we're not, nature is everything. That's where it started.
It is. It is. It got here first.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of feeling like we're somebody. Each one of us is the same, just a different configuration. We are all elements of God's dream to support God's dream. That's what we're here for.
So you got a thing that popped in my head.
Okay, pop away.
We talk about all this stuff and what we should be doing. A lot of us have different views of all of that. But the things that many feel work well, again, take 10 minutes a day or 10 minutes every other day, whatever you got, and walk outside. It's been therapeutically proven research that you should be doing that. It's good for you. So why isn't there just a manual or a one sheet of what you should be doing? How come it's all like you talked about organization in the beginning there? Why isn't it easy? You know, do you understand where I'm going with that? Why, like, we all talk about these things, but we all don't do them. Why isn't it easier?
Darned if I know. Okay, you got me. Why isn't it easier?
I don't, just like
You win. I'll play your little game. Why isn't
I don't know. It's the same thing when you have a kid. There's no manual that comes with the kid. Here's the operating manual of your child. Here you go. This is what you need to be doing.
it?
It's kind of wing it. You figure it out along the way. It would be nice if there was just a one sheet of things we should be doing that we know have been proven to be beneficial.
I've been wondering what I could publish. Maybe I'll publish a one sheet. I like getting it down to the details. A list of 10 things to do to line yourself up. What do you think?
I think that's great. Even next time we get together, here's Janis's top 10 secrets to life. How about that?
Don't look. Try not to listen. And prepare to get dirty. Doesn't count unless you get dirty.
And I would add in there, a bonus one from Steve. Everything is work. Doesn't matter what it is. I don't mean that in a bad way, but you need to be prepared that everything is work. Let's say you're planning, a fun weekend. You got to plan it. It's a little bit of work involved there. Everything is work.
Well, let me back that up too. I'll back you up. When you laugh really hard, your sides hurt. That's because they were working.
There you go.
So yeah, you're right. You're on the nose.
Yeah, we can't just look at things and say, well, this is just it'll be easy. No, it's a little bit of work. Listen, before we got on this video, you had to tell your husband, you had to go around the other side of the house and tell your husband to shut off whatever he was doing on the internet. By the way, it made a big difference because he was sucking up bandwidth from your internet.
Who knew?
Yeah, well, you did, but guess what? You didn't just press a button. You had to get up and you had to walk around and say, "Excuse me, I need to use the internet right now. Shut her down." A little bit of work.
And he did, and he did. He loves me.
Yeah, yeah. But what I'm saying is, you didn't just press a button. You had to get up and walk around. A little bit of work involved. Whatever.
Right. I'm old school up here. I actually get up and answer the door. And the phone, it actually goes ring, ring. And I say, hello, is that you? It's just old school.
Nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm. Keeps me more grounded.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's helpful because I work with spirit so much. That might be a reason I live on a mountaintop. I'll digest this later.
Well, let's talk about that. We have like seconds left here, but there was a reason you were put there.
It is. I guess, I'm guarded and kept safe from whatever boogers are out there looking for me. But I'm glad y'all found me. I'm glad I'm available for help. Tell me what you need. Don't worry about what I can do. Tell me what you need.
How do we find you? I know your email address, probably one of the best ways, right?
That's really the best way. I'm reluctant to give out my phone number because, it's a landline. It's the only number I've got. And my husband might be annoyed. So send it to the goddess Janis at hotmail.com. And it's just like it sounds. It's a little Anglo name, GODDESSJANIS at hotmail.com. I like when you say .com, you have to sing that little hum.
Makes it official.
It is. It's official.
I'm glad we talked today. Like, interesting insight. on Ahioka and what you do, and you do a lot of different things. If anybody wants to reach out, uh, you've got insight, and for that we thank you about that.
You know, with insight, we can get a different perspective of what's going on around us. And a lot of times that alone is enough to give us a good belly laugh.
And a different view of things, which sometimes we need.
Right. You look in there. It's like when I was trying to chase down a bunch of people one day, and this one woman, she just kept walking towards me, and she looked familiar, and I didn't know who she was, but I'm supposed to collect her. And when I got up to the mirror and nearly crashed into it and realized it was me, I realized sometimes we don't recognize ourselves.
Yeah, well, same thing. You go in a fun house and you have all those mirrors, and you try to figure out which one's real.
Which one's real? Well, Heyoka can help you dance around that and jitterbug out of the mirror house and figure out which way's up.
Janis, great talking with you today.
I've enjoyed talking to you too, Steve. I hope you have a good day.
You too.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.